All right, thank you. All right, go ahead and call this meeting, regularly scheduled meeting, Hill County Commissioners Court to order, 23rd day of June, 2026, 8:30 a.m., Hill County Courtroom. If you would, let's go ahead and prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you today humbly, Lord, seeking your guidance in the decisions that will be made here today, Lord. Lord, we pray for our county, we pray for our nation, Lord, in these times. Just continue to guide us, lead us, and direct us. Give us wisdom and discernment. We love you and praise you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. What?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and thanks to my pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
All right. Well, Commissioner, how are you this morning?
Well, I'm good, just hopping around,
Literally.
get stuff taken care of. We're with the moisture that we got late last week, we're out bladed a few roads, repaired some potholes, and we're working on finishing up prep work for the chip seal on 1207. And we're still working on that today. Got a little problem with the water truck. Working on that this morning, but we hope to get that shaped up this week and maybe mid to late week next week, start working on that, get that finally chip sealed off our books.
Commissioner?
Well, same thing, patching potholes. Chip seal roads are great, but the repair on them is tremendous cost to keep them up. But we got some roads re-rocked this week, and then we started back on 21-24 yesterday. Trying to get it re-rocked and then Bomag and try to get it ready to set up to chip seal this summer sometime. And we got 1330 ready to, just about ready to go, but choppers are in town. Silage and corn, be careful. They're beating a lot of our county roads to powder as usual, but beware, they're here.
That's right. Commissioner?
Got a bridge open on 3107 yesterday. It's on a dead end road, so we were sweating it last weekend when it was raining. Thank God we missed the big rains. Kept those folks way in and out the whole time, so that's about it. Patching a few potholes. Same old same.
I would just do a little shredding, do a little boom shredding, a little bit of road shredding and some gravel. That's about it.
Tim?
Busy.
IT? No?
Judge, we got these Motorola Sylvan upgrade here in a couple of weeks over at the sheriff's office, so right now we're getting prepared for that, we're doing the final checklist. That's kind of our main focus right now, we're looking at just anyway.
Emergency Manager?
It's been busy. Hasn't been, had lots of meetings, lots of calls, and been busy last 5 days.
Ms. Peavy in the auditor's office?
We're finalizing the audit of the audit outside auditors. This will let you know the final report, and show all the numbers filed out. We're about to get that done by the end of the month.
Mr. Davis from AgriLife, you have anything for us?
Days of summer are here.
Mr. Compton said, salvage choppers are in town. They got a short window to get that crop out, so we're working hard to get that done. Hay harvest, you know, is in full swing and just attacking different pests.
Well, my allergies messed up.
Feel
ESD,
free to do
Mr. Hector, anything for the court?
We're struggling with recent resignations, but we're still trying to keep things afloat, keep things moving forward. And we thankful for our firefighters and first responders that responded to the tragic accident. They were safe, they all came home safe. And our prayers go out to those families that were affected, which were Bill County residents.
What's wrong?
Yeah, there was a decent amount of tragedy in Bill County this past weekend. I pray for all those, all those affected.
For my office, I had a list of things I was gonna talk about, but I already forgot. I am working on a webpage on. IT has helped me figure out how to put a webpage on our current website. It'll be another page to where any correspondence the county receives between any major projects that are going on. It'll be posted there, and that way anybody can see it whenever they want to see it. So whatever mail correspondence, I'm working on email correspondence as well. So that'll all be immediately available once I get taught how to do it properly. So that's what we're working on my side, as well as budget letters will be coming out, hopefully today or tomorrow. Yes, I got a yes to both days. So we'll have budget letters being sent out to all the elected and appointed. And we will start the budget season here shortly. July will be when we're having those hearings. So, and those dates have already been sent out. If you don't have them, get with Miss Goodspeed and she'll get you hooked up on your date and time. Obviously, it'll be just like every year we've had in the past, and we can be fluid on times if you need to hop in, if you got a court case or whatever. We can move the times around for your particular office, but it'll still be at those dates, and the budget hearings will be at those same times. So, all right. We'll go ahead and move into open forum. Kim, Wayland?
Wetland.
In open forum, you've got 5 minutes, and open forum, I haven't reminded anybody lately, but open forum is to discuss anything on the agenda that you're wanting to have a public comment about. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just have 3 questions now too, because you talked about the website. So we'll be notified about projects that are asking questions about Hill County. I wanted to know when we will be notified that the Development Services Department will begin following the Major Industrial Development Review Policy. And also, will that department provide bi-weekly reports at this meeting on the progress of those projects? And that's all my questions.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Maria Costa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mary Costa.
Mary.
That's okay.
Every
It's spelled funny. Yeah, so not your fault. My mom and dad's. I wanted to thank y'all for putting the fire marshal on the agenda. I think that it's imperative that we do everything we can to stop these data centers and to keep our county what it is, a great place to live and raise our families. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, and online I have Mr. Daniel Wilson. If you're online, sir, go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hello, Judge. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Daniel Wilson. I want to address the resignation letters that's on the agenda. and some statements in there that these, some of my information requests cost the district $30,000. The cost did not come from the request. The cost came from the workflow the district chose. On January 22nd, I requested 2 routine documents, the meeting minutes and the election order already sent to the elections administrator. These are standard public records, no redactions, no sensitive information. I asked for them because the ESD held an improperly noticed meeting where they voted and signed an order of an election that if challenged could have cost both the ESD and the county thousands of dollars. And with a new elections administrator, this is not a black eye this county needed. On February 25th, I requested the district's purchasing card statements. Again, a basic financial record every other ESD in Texas produces in-house. I requested this because the board had adopted an unlawful spending policy that allowed unilateral spending by board members, bypassing the requirement that the board act as a quorum. In both cases, instead of simply emailing the documents, the district routed the request to outside legal counsel. That triggered billable emails, billable delays, and billable back and forth. Counsel even stated in writing that he already had the records, yet to this day, neither the January 22nd request nor the February 25th request has been filled. Not partially, not eventually, not at all. This is how you reach $30,000, not because of the request, but because of the process the district chose. The district also adopted a Public Information Act policy that was never properly posted and never legally adopted. So the district was relying on a policy that did not exist while paying an attorney hundreds of dollars an hour to handle routine paperwork. Since I began requesting records, only 2 Public Information Act requests have ever been responded to with any records at all, and only 1 has been completed in full. Every other request remains partially or entirely unfulfilled. That is not a requester problem. That is a process problem. The board's failure to supervise their counsel or set limits on what they allow him to do is what caused the expense. The attorney was permitted to turn routine requests into billable debates, billable delays, and billable obstruction. Any cost incurred was the direct result of the lack of oversight. And I think it's important to say this plainly. It's entirely possible, and the billing records will show this, that the unfulfilled PIRs are being used to justify the budget increase because the district's attorney was actually defending commissioners in ethics commission matters and criminal inquiries. If district funds were used for personal defense, that is something that needs to be looked into. Oversight agencies were not unleashed. They acted because that is their job. Some acted because state law required it. Some acted because of the district's own filings or public posts. Some acted because more than one person raised concerns. I submitted lawful public information requests. When those requests were ignored or delayed, the law required me to seek help from the proper authorities. That is not harassment. That is exactly how the Public Information Act is designed to work. And the idea that nothing was found does not match the record. The Ethics Commission required the district to remove election-related posts from their Facebook pages. The county attorney has had to intervene multiple times because the district's counsel refused to release routine records. And I am still waiting on documents counsel said months ago he already had. And I want the court to be aware the county attorney has told me directly that he is preparing a formal demand letter to force the district to comply with the Public Information Act. If the district refuses, the next step is a fight in district court, and that will cost far more than $30,000. Transparency is not the problem. The decision to resist transparency is what created the expense. And I want to remind the court, there is no state agency that actively oversees emergency service districts. Even this court has a limited role. You appoint commissioners, fill vacancies, and receive audits. That's it. The legislator designed ESDs to operate with significant independence, which means the only real oversight that exists is the oversight the public provides. Chapter 775 depends on citizen watchdogs. That is not political. That is not harassment. That is exactly how the system was designed to work. If you would like to appoint me to this board, I'd be willing to serve for a short time to help resolve these issues. I would require the office administrator complete PIRs in-house. I would bring a vote to terminate current counsel and consider using ESD's counsel, ESD2's counsel. I would ensure compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act, ensure an investment officer is appointed, ensure the judge sets the treasurer's bond, and challenge any vague agenda item that fails to inform the public. I would have full access to all records, and I wouldn't need to file PIRs while serving, but it would be for a short duration, and I would do it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. All right, next up, I have Mr. Zangari. Mr. Zangari, if you can hear me, unmute your microphone.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Basil Zangari, BZ Watchdog, running for County Commissioner, Precinct 3. Today, I want to speak about the First Amendment, why our founding fathers created it, and why it still matters right here in Hill County. The First Amendment protects speech, the press, peaceful assembly, and the right of the people to petition their government for a redress of grievances. That means citizens have the right to criticize government officials. Some people may not like my tone. Some people may not like my speeches. Some people may not like I use public records to question decisions made by public officials, but that is exactly why the First Amendment exists. Government does not belong to elected officials. Government belongs to the people. Under Texas law, a public servant includes elected, appointed, selected, or employed persons acting in a governmental role. That title matters. It does not mean you are above criticism. It means you are held to a higher standard. When public servants or people connected to government get online and bully citizens, attack requesters, or act like children on Facebook, they are not just speaking as private citizens in the eyes of the public. They represent the organization they serve. That brings me to Hill County ESD 1. People are trying to blame me for the resignation of 3 board members. I had nothing to do with those resignations. Back in February, I was asked to submit a records request for someone. I submitted it, never received a proper response, and honestly, I forgot about it, never followed up. Then Gregory Brown, who's sitting in the front seat, obtained or had access to my records requests, which he should not have been weaponizing, and he publicly posted my address and phone number online. Texas Penal Code Section 42.074 addresses unlawful disclosure of a resident's address or telephone number when done with intent to cause harm or threat of harm. Texas Penal Code Section 3606 addresses obstruction or retaliation when someone harms or threatens harm by unlawful act because a person reported or intended to report wrongdoing. Depending on the facts, Texas Penal Code 3902 and 3903 may also apply when a public servant misuses their position or knowingly violates someone's rights. I have filed a complaint with the Hill County Sheriff's Office, and I am pursuing charges. This was retaliation, this was doxing, and it should not be ignored because the target was a records requester or a government watchdog. I am also asking this Commissioner's Court to call for a full audit of ESD1 and all volunteer fire departments receiving taxpayer money or ESD-related funds. If officials and departments want to publicly attack citizens and blame records requests, then taxpayers deserve to know exactly where the money is going. It does not cost $30,000 to respond to one records request. If that number is being thrown around, then show the receipts, audit the books, find out whether this is mismanagement, abuse, or something worse. I also received a call from the jail and an email regarding serious allegations, inmates being denied appropriate access to the law library, and a woman allegedly being placed in a cell by herself naked for 8 days. I've addressed jail concerns before, and the complaints keep coming. Last week, Tarrant County had 2 jail deaths. Are we going to ignore these warnings until Hill County is facing a wrongful death lawsuit? This county already appears to be racking up lawsuits and civil rights concerns, including prisoner right issues and the RCM Hill lawsuit. At some point, this court must stop reacting after damage is done and start demanding accountability before taxpayers are left holding the bill. I'm asking this court to ensure the complaint involving Gregory Brown is fully investigated. I'm asking that the jail complaints be fully investigated. I'm asking that officials who violate citizens' rights be held accountable and prosecuted when the evidence supports it. Public records are not harassment. Public comment is not harassment. Criticizing government is not harassment. It is the First Amendment. And as always, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Judge, commissioners, everybody in the room, thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day. Hope you guys do the right thing today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I have a Lisa Cook online. Miss Cook, if you're online, if you could unmute your microphone.
Howdy there.
There we go.
I was just wanting to speak on how this back here has really affected my mother's lymphoma and her medical conditions. For all the people that have one of these coming close to y'all, It's nothing like I've ever experienced. I commend y'all for putting some stuff in place to regulate these guys, but like our county road isn't our road anymore. We get bullied off of it, which is really crazy. All the artificial light at night severely has disturbed all of our animals, so that's something y'all get to look forward to. Right now it's not really noisy at all because they do most of the work at night since it's hot during the day. My mom's developed tinnitus from this. Please, whatever y'all can do to implement things to regulate these folks would be a very would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I believe she hung up. Thank you, Ms. Cook. Alright. I don't have anybody else signed up for open forum that I know of this time. All right, then we'll move on to our consent agenda. Consent agenda is action on minutes, invoices, payroll, action on monthly reports, revenue and disbursement, and observe annual report, elected officials training certificates. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. No opposed, motion carries. Moving on to our court orders, discuss interaction on employee wage or status changes. The wage status change for Jimmy Ishmael, precinct 2, Amy Peavy, Susan Swilling, the auditor's office. Mr. Flores from JJAP instructor, Hunter Eaton, head county jail, Mr. Perez, tax assessor collector's office, a separation of Jennifer Chavez, adult supervision, and Jacob Wyatt, Cook County Jail. Make a motion from second. Motion in a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, discuss interaction on a wage status change. Wage change status for Brenna Kirkland and Liz Bolden, tax assessor collector's office.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, observe and record monthly reports from our fee offices for April 2026.
Make motion to approve.
Second.
That's one second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, observe and record the resignation of Chad Wilson from Cook County Emergency Service District Number 1, Drainage Director. I don't believe Mr. Wilson is here. I would like to extend our greatest thanks to Mr. Wilson for the service that he has given to this town. He did a very good job, and I was sad to see him go.
Second that. Make a motion. Second. Resignation.
The motion to accept it to observe and record. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Approval to observe and record the resignation of Mr. Brown from the Lake County Emergency Service District Number 1 Board of Directors. Mr. Brown is here today. Would you like to
I would love
address
to.
the court?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I would love to. And by the way, on behalf of Mr. Chad Wilson, he regrets that he not be here today, but he also stated that he actually has a job not like some people, so he can't just not do anything. Judge, commissioners, volunteer firefighters, citizens of Hill County, today I'm submitting my resignation as president of Hill County ESD District 1. Before I do, I believe the citizens of Hill County deserve and want an explanation. First, I want to thank the volunteer fire departments, the firefighters, the ESD staff, my fellow commissioners who have worked tirelessly to improve emergency services throughout this county. After fighting in 2 wars, deploying multiple times, living overseas for 3 years away from my family and friends, and eventually returning back to the United States. Being in the United States and serving the Marine Corps 25 years honorably, I moved to Hill County because I wanted to serve my community. I have always believed in something. If something needs fixed, you step up and you help. If there's a problem, you become part of the solution. That belief has led me to become a volunteer firefighter in an unpaid position, a fire chief in an unpaid position, an ESD commissioner, and ultimately the president of ESD1, both unpaid positions. For more than 5 years, I have served as served on ESD1. For the last year and a half, I have had the privilege of being president. Like I said, this is not a paid position. I receive no salary, no benefits, no compensation. Everything I have done has been done as a volunteer, often spending 20 to 30 hours a week away from my family, business, and personal life because I believe it was the right thing to do. And it was what needed to be done. And if you've seen on Facebook, this the past couple of days, you can see a snapshot of what my year has been like for the past year since I picked up president. Despite that, our board has accomplished a great deal. We went from borrowing a room in an office, having to move a couple of times throughout the years, not because we didn't own it, and using whatever courtroom that was available to have a meeting, to owning 5 acres of property and having a permanent office. We acquired a training facility that is available to volunteers and career firefighters across Texas. We increased support to the volunteer fire departments, and I challenge anybody to ask the fire departments what we have done. When they speak and they talk, how about you talk to the people who we serve and who we help? Ask them what we have done. Don't go on Facebook and ask people who have no clue. We have helped repair fire apparatuses when departments lacked funding because it was the right thing to do, not because we had to. We improved communications and purchased radios for the VFDs, and they did not ask us to. We did it because we want to see these firefighters go home safe. We increased fire safety through listening to what they needed and acted accordingly. We strengthened relationships between departments. The city of Whitney and Hillsborough VFD historically did not work with ESD. We all work together. They come to our meetings. We all discuss what needs to be done for the county. We help secure equipment, training opportunities, and resources that directly improve public safety. The most importantly, we did all this while maintaining one of the strongest financial positions in history. And no, every cent is accounted for. And actually, most of the board members spent their own money for small things and did not ask for reimbursement because we felt it was a way of giving back to our volunteers. The most recent audit confirms our auditor issued a clean opinion. The district's net position increased. The district maintains over $2 million in cash. This is the most ESD1 has ever had. When I came on 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, we had $600,000 in the bank, and our budget was $600,000. The auditor had no fraud, no misuse of funds, no procurement violations, no compliance violations, no accounting irregularities. The findings was the only finding was a common administrative error that many small government entities go through. The district relies on an auditor to assist and prepare technical GAAP financial statements because we don't employ a CPA. That's saving the taxpayers $76,000 by using an auditor. This is the reality of the audit. And now I want to address the real reason why I'm resigning. I support transparency. Every citizen has the right to ask questions. Every citizen has the right to question public record. Every citizen has the right to hold public office accountable. I have never opposed transparency. We oppose the weaponization of transparency. There is a difference. Transparency seeks understanding. Weaponization seeks destruction. Over the past year, a small group of individuals, including who spoke today, Daniel Wilson, thank you for proving my point, Amy Till, and most recently, BZ Watchdog, also who spoke today, have filed statements that plan to file numerous, he also planned to file numerous records on Facebook complaints and public accusations involving me, Chad Wilson, ESD1. Whether or not it's the intent was to accumulate the environment or scrutiny or suspicion, they made those. I'm sorry, I've lost my place there. So one of the examples I wanted to go through, I'm a little upset, I apologize. One example I want to go through is the filing of a request from Amy Till on February 22nd, BZ on February 25th, which he said he did for somebody else. When you go to the airport, they say don't give your luggage to somebody else, be responsible for your own luggage. Don't know why you would do that. Daniel Wilson on March 4th and Nicole Reese on March 9th, asking all the same questions. Our lawyer called me up and said, hey, this is weird. And he told me this. And I was okay. And then he goes, yeah, but they're all asking for different quarters in the same year so that none of them get hit with a big fee, or it doesn't look like they all did it. I mean, anybody can do open records request and find out if these dates are true if they really want to. But in the same quarters, equaling a year worth of financials, our admin only works 20 hours a week to do normal ESD office work, not to add and pile this onto her plate each month. Would you stay after work and work for free, or would you do as much as you can while you're on the clock? And that's what she does, as much as she possibly can while she's on the clock. Like I said, we're all unpaid. Most of us all have other jobs and we have other responsibilities. So ask yourself, are these requests done to understand? Were they done to improve? Were they done to help? Or are they done to find fault? I mean, I have 5 different investigations just from the Texas Ethics Committee. So I don't know if they were done to help. I can only assume fault. To slow the improvement and work of the VFDs that have made, to slow the improvement, the important work of what the ESD does, which is helping the VFDs. Consider the facts. The sheriff's office was contacted with allegations. The Texas Rangers were contacted with allegations. The Attorney General's office was contacted twice with allegations, or twice that I know of. The Texas Ethics Committee was contacted on 5 different times with allegations. County officials were contacted with accusations. I'm pretty sure I know you had talked to him a couple times. Your Honor. The district's independent auditor received, our independent auditor, who is a civilian, received communications questioning the manner in which his audit was being conducted. I mean, he can't even finish his audit and he's getting told how to do his audit. Have you done this? Are you doing that? Complaint after complaint was filed. Investigation after investigation was requested. And after all that, there's no findings, no fraud, no corruption, no theft, no criminal conduct, no misuse of funds. The only issue ever identified was a clerical typo, which we all make mistakes. It happens. After it happened, we solved it 10 minutes later. And I talked to the AG. The AG said you did exactly what you were supposed to. You're supposed to remove it, make the change, and repost it. I said, thank you, sir, I appreciate it. But that was not good enough. Daniel Wilson continued to contact the Texas Ethics Committee 5 more times with pretty much the same complaint, but adding different words every single time. I have all those because they're personal, so I have them at the house. I kind of know what they actually say. Yet the accusations continue. Let me give you another example so citizens can understand what I mean. One request saw virtually all the communications involving expenditures, reimbursements, policies, contracts, discussions, outside meetings, and quorum-related communications without any meaningful time limitation. Think about that. That means searching through years of emails, texts, records, and communications involving multiple commissioners throughout district operations through multiple years. Another request sought records relating to the safety conference before attendance had even been finalized. The request was a list of attendees. So they want to know who's going there, whose wife's going, their names, who's going to this conference. Their relationship with the district, the receipts and registrations, the hotel registrations, the records related to Commissioner Chad Wilson's expenses. The practical effect was simple. Place scrutiny on individuals simply for attending required training. We are required as ESD to get 2 hours of training a year. So we are getting penalized for doing what we're supposed to do. And they're saying we're not doing a good job. So obviously going to more training should be good, but yet they're penalizing us for that. And honestly, after the meeting, we all felt intimidated. Like somebody was trying to say, hey, if you don't go, they won't ask for these records. Your name won't be in the records. But guess what? We went anyway because it was the right thing to do. Another example involves repeated communications directed towards independent auditors that was conducting an audit, which I had mentioned previously. Questions posed regarding how the audit should be conducted, whether the explanation given to the commissioner's court was accurate. So asking, hey, did I lie to the judge stating that he received it late, he wasn't ready? Whether documents were provided, whether the district was being truthful. The audit had not even been completed. Again, I ask yourself, was the goal understanding? Was the goal finding something wrong? There's another example even more concerning to me, and this just happened recently. One public statement from BZ Watchdog essentially said, and he kind of did it again here, which was awesome. I love how people cannot not be themselves. I will accept your apology or your resignation at any point. Please don't make me investigate that department. That was said to a fire chief. I don't know how you guys take that, but I take that very harshly. Like, wow, I am going to investigate your department unless you give me an apology or step down. And just yesterday, what I interpret as a statement of using open record requests and investigations as leverage, I will now look into ESD, including Covington, Bynum, Abbott's, and other volunteer fire departments connected with these issues. If certain individuals from these departments want to raise issues publicly, then the public has every right to question and review records. Think about those words carefully. This is not a request for transparency. This is not a request for information. He is looking for information to shut VFDs down. Yes, I mean, you tell me, is this statement used for investigation of records, leveraging it against somebody who disagrees with them? I ask every citizen today, what if this happened to you? What would you do if you went to work every single day and your integrity was questioned? What would you do if complaint after complaint was filed, repeatedly clearing you? What would you do if your family had to watch strangers publicly attack you in your character? By the way, it was a great picture on Facebook of me. But it shouldn't happen. My son in DC shouldn't have to go online and see his father on Facebook like that. Or my daughter in San Antonio. What would you do if you volunteered 20 to 30 hours in your week and your reward was constant suspicion, accusations, being a coward, being called a coward, being called a thief? What would you say? I mean, would you say? Most people would not. And here's the real danger. The danger is not Greg Brown, Chad Wilson, or Jimmy Johnson resigning. The danger is good people stop volunteering. The danger is the future leaders that look at what has happened here, including today, and decide it is simply not worth the personal cost. The danger is that organizations become so afraid of criticism that they stop moving forward altogether. Leadership requires decisions. Not everybody will agree with those decisions. That is normal. But the difference between disagreement and harassment, the difference between accountability, there's a difference between disagreement and harassment. There is a difference between accountability and intimidation. As Christians, we should understand the distinction. Jesus taught us to seek the truth. He also taught us to examine our own motives. He taught us to treat others as we would be treated. I don't feel like anybody's treating me like they want to be treated. It doesn't feel like that to me. He taught us to build up rather than tear down, to restore rather than destroy, to seek understanding before condemnation. If someone believes a mistake has been made, step forward, have a conversation. The first step should be to ask questions. The first step should be seeking understanding. Instead, what we have recently seen is the accusations before conversation, suspicion before understanding, condemnation before facts. I hold no hatred towards these individuals or anybody involved. I forgive them. That's what I am told to do. So that's what I do. I wish them well. But I also believe citizens deserve to understand why I and other commissioners have reached this decision. My resignation may look like a victory to some people, but in reality, my wife wins. My family wins, my kids win, and my business wins. Because I regained countless hours previously spent responding to complaints, investigations, accusations, records requests, and looking for more ways to improve Hill County VFDs. But guess what? Hill County loses. The volunteer fire departments lose. The citizens lose. Because they are losing leaders who were willing to answer calls at all times of the night, day or night. Willing to sacrifice personal time and make sure that the fire departments are ready when the worst day happens to somebody in this county. And we're willing to dedicate themselves to improving public safety. Nothing that they have done with these open requests have improved anything. It doesn't improve one thing. The citizens of Hill County, I leave you with this. Attend meetings, your county and local, ask questions, get involved, support your volunteer fire departments, learn how these organizations operate. Open record requests only provide a snapshot. They do not show the months of research, planning, decisions, and sacrifice behind each decision. If you truly want to make a difference, volunteer at your local VFDs, your schools, and you join at your churches. Make a difference in your county and your community. Join the local fire department, serve on boards, serve your community, become part of the solution. I leave this position knowing that I have accomplished everything I set out to do. So that gives me great joy. I gave it everything I had. I served with integrity. I served with honesty. I served with the same commitment to service that guided me throughout my military career. I am proud of what I accomplished, what we accomplished together. I am grateful for those who stood beside me. And I leave knowing that God sees my intentions and the intentions of everybody that worked with me in their hearts, even when others do not. Thank you for allowing me to serve Hill County. God bless you. May God bless Hill County. Thank you.
There you go.
That's a rough one right there. That, Greg, for all of the commitment and effort and heart that you put into that position, it's a travesty for it to end up the way that it is and the way that it evolved. And for that, I'm truly sorry. For you, for your family to have to go through that, for the ESD, for the volunteer fire departments. I can't even make the motion.
I do know that you did hit on something that does take away a lot to me is I cannot see many of our best and brightest preteens and teens and future graduates even looking at public service. Why?
They're volunteers.
I don't have many other words for it.
You know, the way things are going, Hill County is not too far away from having to have a paid fire department. And the people do not want to pay, or a bunch of people have testified here that they don't want to pay over the 3 cents per 100 to run a fire department. So
if we don't have a fire department, and what will happen, the home insurance will go through the roof. Rather than be paying $1,500 to $2,000, it may cost $10,000. Because if your home catches on fire, it will burn to the ground. And I think the people are being very illiterate in the way they're taking this, and I think it's a damn shame.
Yeah, there's a huge economic fallout to the whole thing.
Well, if you don't have any kind of fire department, your insurance, if you can afford it, is gonna be atrocious. Oh, mine's going up a couple $1,000s the last couple of years. And it will go up a whole bunch without the volunteers. And the volunteers are getting older. They're like those of us on the commissioner's court here. Their years of activity is going.
I know we already made a motion and accepted, Mr. Wilson's. By technicality, there is no requirement for the court to take action on this. Mr. Brown's resignation was official and sufficient when he gave it to the ESD. So,
With regret, I'll make the motion.
I have a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. All opposed? Vote carries. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
Number 6, discuss interaction on bonds from Miss Amy Peavy, Philip Cantrell, and Jennifer Ryan.
From my mom, they made it out to the county judge. It needs to be the district judge, so we're gonna have that redone.
Okay, so we'll amend this to just Philip and Miss Jennifer.
Make motion.
Second.
Motion was second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, discuss interaction on the resolution for County Road 3102 over Cobb Creek and 4281 over Coleman Creek regarding the federal off-system bridge program administered by the Texas Department of Transportation to replace or rehabilitate structurally deficient and functionally obsolete bridges on public roads and streets off of the designated state highway system in precinct number 3.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what that means?
Look, we've been approved for a bridge over here on 3102 over Cobb Creek.
Yes, sir.
The bridge that we just completed will serve as matching funds, so it won't. We get, that bridge cost us $125,000. That will be sufficient enough to cover the in-kind services over on this bridge, so.
In the bridge on 42.
Yes, sir. So, basically we get 2 bridges for the price of one. Cool. We still get to pay for it as, even though it's a state funded bridge, we still pay state taxes as well, of course. Yeah, we get to pay for it one way or another. It will be a nice bridge. So I'll make a motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Opposed. All right, number 8, discuss interaction to declare a local state of disaster with the Hill County, in Hill County due to the threat of the New World Screwworm. Church Texas Government Code Section 418.108. Lieutenant Jackson, you mind coming up and speaking on this thing? We put this on, obviously I have the authority to declare a disaster, short-term one. I wanted to put it on here, one, so we can get an update from Mr. Jackson and Mr. Davis. They're kind of we had a meeting in reference to this as well as with our state, emergency management representations, Ms. Goff. We all sat down and, spoke about what the state's doing, what they're planning, how this could affect us, how we're gonna do messaging, all of those things. I was gonna implement it, immediately after that meeting. And the progress is slowed. It slowed quite a bit for a minute. I don't know if that was the rain. I'm not a fly expert. But anyway, could you guys update us where we're at, whoever wants to?
I'll let the expert go with it.
Well,
I don't know about expert, and I'm gonna use some notes here so we stay on track and there's no misinformation provided. Because there is a lot of that out there. And so first and foremost, I would caution everyone, if you look for information, make sure it's a reputable source, a .gov, a .edu, something like that. AgriLife has quite a few publications on that. Texas Animal Health Commission is a regulatory agency on it. So look for those if you're looking for information, but we're dealing with a parasitic fly. It's called the New World Screwworm. This was, here back in the 60s. It was eradicated. Some of you may remember it. They say you never forget it if you doctored cattle or livestock that had the screwworm in them because of the smell that it puts off. We've had some occasional reinfestations in Central America and Mexico since the 60s, but we've kept those kind of at bay up until now. And now that fly, we've tracked it all the way through Mexico and now into the US. It's called the New World Screwworm, and it gets that name from the way it burrows into wounds on animals. And it doesn't always have to be a wound. If they can't find something with a wound, then they will lay in an orifice or kind of a mucous membrane, umbilical cord regions of newborn calves. Noses, things of that nature. As those larvae, which are maggots, as they hatch, they begin to feed on that live flesh and create a pretty extensive wound on there, which could be lethal if not caught in time and treated. It's easier to manage livestock, domestic livestock that are accustomed to being handled, monitored, regularly. It's the wildlife that are out there on the landscape that are going to be the wild card in this deal, if you will, because we can't handle them. We can observe them, and we hope that folks are doing that. So producers and folks, livestock owners, even pet owners, because any warm-blooded animal is susceptible to this, should be kind of monitoring for wounds and so forth, treating those with topicals. Get with a veterinarian if you have questions on what can be used. But some potential infestations, foul smells coming from wounds, like I mentioned, with that visible maggot or larva in there, animals biting or licking at wounds, lesions on those navels, ears. Any dehorning or branding sites, are certainly susceptible to that. And then restlessness and lethargic animals are another sign of that. So suspicions need to be reported. Obviously, that's the only way we know they're here, is if we get an identification on them. And that's the only way we get support in here to distribute the sterile fly. Once that is implemented, then that's the best way to get control of this. It's what we did back in the 60s to get control of it, and so it's still tried and true, trusted technology to get that done. So if you have suspicions of of an animal with that, call your local vet, call the Texas Animal Health Commission. If it's wildlife, you can call the Texas Parks and Wildlife, or you can just certainly call us and we can help get you in contact with who needs to be involved in the deal. As of this morning, there are 16 confirmed cases in the United States, 15 of those in Texas. A brand new one just hit the deal, I guess, late yesterday, maybe this morning, in Terrell County, which is the first actual border county that has a confirmed case there. But Terrell, Edwards, Crockett, Tom Green, Gillespie, excuse me, Zavala, and LaSalle County are the ones that have those active cases. There are quarantine zones and infected zones that are implemented by Texas Animal Health Commission that are much larger and incorporate other counties, but that's the list of counties that have those active cases. They're a good ways from us, but certainly doesn't mean that it can't get here relatively quick.
Zach, have they already dusted some of those sterile flies in those areas?
In those areas, yes, sir. And that's what's so important is that we get reports of them or suspicious cases that can be investigated, samples collected, identified, and then get support in here with that sterile fly delivery.
Is the Republic of Mexico working with us at all on it?
I believe so. You know, we've tracked it through their records coming up here in the state, and USDA have both attempted to work with them to get things. The sterile flies are, I think most all of them right now are coming out of Panama, and then being shipped up here and distributed as needed. So.
Basically, right now, the way that just talking with these gentlemen and Ms. Goff, the way that Hill County is tackling this is obviously close monitoring. The reason why at first I was going to go ahead and declare disaster prior to this meeting was it seemed to be progressing very quickly. Within the first couple of days after it jumped the border, within the first couple of days, multiple counties popped up and it looked like it was headed towards us. Then it slowed down. We've got a new county yesterday, so I wanted to, we're not behind the ball if we don't do this today. Most of the counties that are touching a contiguous county have done this. Other counties are waiting until they're a contiguous county to a infection zone. We're not losing anything. We're not gaining anything if we do it early. We're not losing anything if we do it early, and vice versa. If this is just posturing, so if we incur damages in the state, we can start covering with the state. And then as far as the way that we're handling it, Zach is kind of our go-to on the flies and treatments and our connection to that world of food contact. And then Jackson is being our logistics guy. If we need logistics stuff done, then we can call on him. And obviously, if the state does get involved, that's when Ms. Goff gets involved. I don't know if you gentlemen are aware. I think Mr. Davis has told you, but AgriLife has been rolled into TDM. Was that
We've got a sector of AgriLife, the Disaster Assessment and Recovery Unit is tightly knitted with TDM and distributed to match TDM's districts.
So TDM is the Texas Department of Emergency Management. So everyone is coming much more closely together than we have been in the past when it was talking about emergency management. And now we're trying to make that same, reflect that within the county to where when we talk about emergency management, we're also talking about AgriLife in certain aspects, obviously.
When it comes to livestock.
When it comes to livestock displacement. Or
So does this term out?
I'm sorry. Okay.
If we approved it, would we have to renew it? I guess that's my question.
There's no expiration. There's no expiration.
Just leave it on.
Until the threat goes away.
Yeah. Well, why we wouldn't go ahead and put it on? Better safe than sorry.
So, I mean, the benefits of not putting on.
There's absolutely zero negatives to doing it. The benefits to it is it gets a little bit more publicity. It gets a little bit more education. It increases on the TDM side, a little bit more readiness on their level because now we've declared a disaster. There's more people watching us. At the state level, there's no negatives, there's only positives.
And then just speaking locally, from going to the feed stores and Tractor Supply, it does appear that a lot of our folks are getting the preventatives. I've seen them sold out, I've seen them restocking and selling, so I think a lot of our people are watching and being aware of what's going on. There are preventatives. If you go to some of the websites that Mr. Davis mentioned, there are multiple preventatives. And even if it has it, the animal can be saved. It's curable. It's not death sentence.
Just potentially economically,
Well, yeah, if it eats through half the ribeye,
Yeah,
excuse me.
yeah, it eats a rib.
if it eats through half the ribeye, you've got a problem for sure.
And that's why monitoring and checking everything is key to knowing if we have them, because it is treatable.
I guess the flip side is we don't want to create a panic.
Yeah.
That, oh, it's already here and, everybody's running for the exits, but would we post this with the feed stores and vets and all that stuff, or just post it online, post it at the courthouse and?
I believe it would just be posted
Put it in-
here
put it
and
in
then
the
go
paper.
to the state.
Yeah, it would, we have to publicly post it, so it'd have to be posted at the courthouse. But it would go to the state as well, and then we would just continue doing the online
And
publication.
it'll be in paper too, so. I'd make a motion, we put it on.
I'll say.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any input from the council, Mr. Ralph?
Motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 9. Discuss interaction on. Discuss and or possible action regarding the establishment of the Hill County Fire Marshal's Office, including consideration of organizational structure, qualifications, compensation, budget area requirements, office location, equipment needs, implementation timeline, and associated duties and responsibilities. That's a short paragraph, but no interest in.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I guess we just need to take it. We've been talking about, obviously, the County Fire Marshal Office. So I guess first step would be consideration of the organizational structure. I'm only envisioning this as a one-man office. For budgetary concerns. And there is being as we're speaking about ESDs today, there is a provision that allows ESDs to hire a, matter of fact, Mr. Guts. I don't want to mess all that up. I've got a rough understanding, but could you explain to the commissioners and Mr. Hefner if he's not aware?
So it was actually brought up to me by Abbott Fire Department. They gave me the statute and I went back and reviewed it. And it's in the Government Code for the ESD to where they can hire a peace officer. And by the language of the law, the peace officer doesn't have to be certified as a firefighter, doesn't have to be certified as a building inspector, lands examiner, anything else that the state says a fire marshal, county fire marshal has to be. But that they can hire any peace officer to be a fire inspector, I think is what the term was, it was called. And that the ESD can adopt any nationally recognized fire code. And then if the county adopts a fire code and the ESD adopts a fire code, whichever one is stricter wins. But then the ESD can have their own inspector and go enforce whatever ordinances, and it does say, they have to adopt policies, they have to adopt ordinances, and they have to do a lot, but they can have their own.
So
Don't you already have enough to do?
I'm asking for that.
we'd have to clone him.
It's not only that, you'd have to get through Sheriff Barnes.
Yeah, that's another.
But
So
you pretty well show up at nearly every The fire,
Yes,
accident, or
and he is.
you're there.
Commander on the ground.
So, as far as organizational, I don't believe the sheriff is wanting this office under his purview. This would be either a standalone office, or we can push it into development services. Being as that's where a lot of the permits for projects would be going. Unless the ESD wanted to do it, I feel like timing right now,
It's pretty poor for
it's
that.
pretty poor for them. I think the ESD has enough on their plate at the moment. We've got work to do in appointing new commissioners quickly. Because I know there are grants out there that fire departments are waiting on, and they can't pay those grants out until we put new people on there, so we need to do that probably by the next, in 2 weeks. Chase rabbits. So if we were to establish a fire marshal's office, my suggestion, and this is 100% suggestion, you guys can shoot it down if you want, is to put in development services. It would be a one-man office. You're gonna have to buy him a truck. I'm gonna have to find a closet, put him in, or put a laptop in the truck and say, "Hey, you're welcome."
This is your office?
Yeah. One of the reasons for this is we can adopt that the state of Texas has already adopted the National Fire Protection Act, the NFPA.
Certain NFPAs.
Right.
Not all.
Not all of them. So by that standard, the NFPA 855 is directly related to BESS systems, the battery backup systems.
Storage.
Yeah. So not only do every major project that we're discussing uses BESS. I spoke with the Van Zandt County Commissioner yesterday. I had a call in with him. He got back to me yesterday. And they were concerned about, I think, windmill project, green energy projects, and these BESS systems. And what they found was when they asked these projects to comply with NFPA 855, that they were all failing their thermal runaway testing. Meaning they were failing at the battery and they were failing at the container side. And so that is why they introduced fire marshal to go and ask for these documents proving third party that they can handle these thermal runaways, fancy word for fire. And so far they've had nobody able to pass the testing. And these are the fires that Abbott Fire Department, when they were here last 2 weeks ago, these are the fires that we're talking about. These are not just a brush fire or
You put it out in the water.
So I was sent some letters from a constituent that were from that commissioner that they're using to send out to these projects. Of course, you have to know the projects exist to send them a letter. But as we get notices, like I've gotten a notice, and I'm gonna put our website together to where people can see, then we can respond to those notices with these letters saying, hey, that's fine, it's your property. You need to be NFPA 855 compliant, which they're supposed to be anyway. So we're not asking them to do anything different than what's already in the law. We're not making new law, none of that. So that's been a discussion I've had with some constituents and the Van Zandt County Commissioner. I also talked to Van Zandt County Judge. That was prior to this. So that's kind of the road that I've been talking to folks about. So in regards to, I'm chasing rabbits. In regards to the fire marshal, if we are hiring our own fire marshal, Lieutenant Jackson, that has to be a peace officer and a certified fireman.
Yes. Yeah, so I have latest building inspector 1 and 2 plans examiner, there's one other class. And just to add more things that you have to worry about,
Remember, with it being a peace officer,
He's running his own office.
not only that, he's gonna have to have some type of records management system, some way to get and receive calls. And while he can piggyback, should the sheriff allow, he would still have to pay Motorola to have access to it, because we're only allowed, if he was under the sheriff's office, where he could just piggyback up the fees, but it's just like the constable's office, any additional office within the county we add, we have to pay Motorola a fee for that. And then the fact that it's permitting as well, you have to be able to track permits. So many things.
Sounds simple. You probably need some training.
I'm sorry.
It needs some training.
Yeah, so that's what they have, the governing body over firemen. They have the building inspector 1 and 2 plans and permitting, they have to have certain classes to be able to go and do inspections and stuff.
Now we.
So you're basically looking at hiring somebody and then sending the skills.
Ideally, you would try to find someone that already has some of those.
We have several people that have.
We've had a couple people express interest in
Have
the
some of
position,
those.
but I don't know their qualifications. We haven't posted the position because we haven't even had the conversation. I've been asked, why didn't you post the position? This is not King Shane. I can't decide what we're gonna pay them. I can't decide their benefits. I can decide where their office is gonna be. That's the authority that I have. So, and I don't have many options. So,
And with contracting services.
I'll just say the only thing with that too is not only do you have to find an office, but again, it's another law enforcement entity and an investigatory entity, so they have to have a place to store evidence too, so it can't just be a whole.
Would the volunteer fire departments have anybody that they might suggest?
I mean, I'm open to discuss it.
Yeah.
But those qualifications are steep. That's a lot. You're not only a certified peace officer, you're a certified
Firefighter. Yeah.
and investigator. And I mean, it's not your run of the mill cop or your run of the mill fireman. That's a hybrid. Did you know the answer to that question?
I would imagine you can, just like, we have interlocal agreement with Hillsborough for emergency management. I mean, I would have to, I know we talked to Johnson County and Ellis County, I would like to follow back up with that, see if they have anyone, that contracts with the government entity.
The elephant that I kind of see in the room is. We all know why we're looking at this. That's no secret. Hopefully, this phase of our life in Hill County is gonna be short-lived. And if it is, what does this person do after it's gone?
Well, I think that's a step in the planning for the growth of the county.
That's fair.
I mean, at some point, we're gonna need that anyway. Maybe it's 2 years down the road, maybe it's 5 years down the road, but we got it in place.
And then are we moving toward having building codes for residential construction and things like that? Because I mean, you're talking.
Yeah, it can get us crazy.
Well, and the thing I'll say too is, especially if you have a county fire marshal, we can use them a lot more than just for inspecting infrastructure. I mean, you talk about how many, we've had 2 structure fires in 7 days alone. Where they're uninsured, there's no crime suspected, so we don't call the state fire marshal. They won't even come out unless there's a crime suspected, but it would be nice for the homeowners, for the citizens, for the neighborhood to know what caused that fire. We have grass fires all the time where we have to call out state assets, wait days, where we had someone where he may not have the training for it right out the door, but to where he could eventually have the training necessary to investigate wildland fires, construction fires, something like that.
Do you think this person would stay busy? Other than inspecting.
Not only that,
Facilities are based in.
not only that, I mean, even we have, multiple incidents inside other municipality jurisdictions to where, again, working with our neighbors to where they could probably benefit from helping other municipalities when they have incidents. I know the city of Hillsborough, they have 2 arson investigators, but depending upon what happens, they may be able to help as well there. But yes, I think there would be something to do. Don't get me wrong, you'll have your down times and your off seasons, but I think.
Yeah, I get that.
And then again, the beautiful thing is he's a cop. We never are short of calls for service.
So one of the early on applicants, and I think this has been maybe a month ago, when we talked about it, was a retired fire marshal from Johnson County. And I don't know what the status of any of his certificates are. He'll have to go re-up, but evidently at one time he was a peace officer and filled that role.
I'm gonna ask you questions you may not know the answer to.
Since emergency management is working with Hillsborough now, with their person, did we work with the city, with their fire marshal?
I think that conversation is worth having. I don't know. I haven't talked to the city of Hillsborough about this at all, and we've developed a pretty good working relationship, I feel like, with the city of Hillsborough. You know, things have been brought up with us working with other governmental agencies or governments, county governments. And some of those county governments aren't super excited to work with us at the moment. And they're waiting to see how the chips fall. So I don't know the appetite. Usually, again, I'm not speaking for Hillsborough. We have a great relationship with the city of Hillsborough, but just dropping in, assuming everybody wants to play ball with us right now is not an assumption that needs to be made. You know, we need to actually go and have that conversation with them and not assume that they want.
Then I'll add to that, I don't want to speak for them, but Chris Carrier stays busy. I mean, just with the infrastructure and residential stuff they have, the man stays busy. I see his truck all over town. I don't know that they have the availability.
All right, question you may not know the answer to. What is the compensation for somebody like this look like? No.
I don't even know what Chris Carrier makes for the city of Hillsborough.
These were provided to me this morning by Ms. Parker. This is just what's posted on our website as our payment steps, step 100 through 127, and their compensation. So if you gentlemen will look through there and see what step you think fire marshal should be at. I did include.
Given his qualifications that he has to have, I'm not sure this bill's high enough.
I don't know that you. I don't know you
have to look at surrounding jurisdiction. Well, the hard for them, I agree, the hard part with that is a lot of those have multiple leads. Even Johnson County, who hasn't even adopted a code yet, they're working on it, has a fire marshal deputy fire. Loss County has fire marshal, and then I believe it was 6 deputy fire marshals.
6 deputies.
That's what, I mean, I do feel like, hopefully, probably right. We know maybe the data center and these projects go away, but people aren't coming.
Right. No, I agree.
It's coming south or north, whichever end of the county.
We're not gonna hurt ourselves by planning for that, I don't think.
Well, and to be honest, we didn't have development services a year ago. We made that to plan for the future, and now all of a sudden they got more work. They've got more work to do than they can handle.
And they need some help already.
Well,
Can we reach out to Dallas and see? Well, they probably have it on their website, but probably
I was just informed,
figure out.
Harrison County, 86,000, Travis County, 98,000 to 128,000 by these
Is
points.
that on your watch?
Johnson.
I'm way behind the time.
Dallas County makes 102,000, Johnson County 91,000.
And I assume they have got some equipment to test it. the fires and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, when you
So
get
you're
to
talking
the
about-
investigation side of things, there's, I mean, I know like when the Forest Service comes out with their wildland investigation team, they have an entire trailer that they bring out, and it's just full of various collection equipment to some of the testings they can do locally, but yeah, there's.
So we could have $250,000 worth of.
Well, yeah, the salary's just.
They're also $100 million plus
But I mean,
budgets.
again, I think that's where, again, it's unreasonable to say you're gonna have all that out the door. You're gonna have to work focusing on getting policies, procedures, ordinances, whatever, and then the permitting and enforcement of those. And then as that smooths out, develop more of what they can do.
And presumably there's grants for those kinds of things.
Oh, the only thing I don't know, statutorily, I don't know if they're required. Once you appoint a county fire marshal, meaning do they have to then immediately be the one that investigates fires? That I don't know. Cause I know like right now, we call state fire marshal because we don't have a county fire. Right. But I don't know if you get a county fire marshal, I'm sure they'll still come help.
Yeah,
course,
I think they've conveyed that they would come help, and they told us they would come help us with this process as well, setting him up. Cause that person's job for the first, who knows how long, is gonna be investigating the NFPA, the IFC. I only have top five, yeah, International Fire Code. So, and then if we do county ordinances, I'm not a big fan of doing county ordinances, I don't wanna tell people what to do on their place. Or enforce, fire codes on, individuals.
We're not that big yet.
No. So, let's see, there was compensation. That was the other part of it. Budgetary requirements, kind of discussed that. Office location is the, is that closet over there still there?
It's still there, and which would give them, because I mean, we'd have to change the door. So you get that first door and the second door that goes into our CDC room. That could serve as a good evidence room if we change that door, because it's already restricted because of the CDC laws. It's
right.
But yes, that understood.
Well, that would be location, equipment needs, we discussed implementation timeline. I don't have a timeline on that at all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we obviously already have identified we need to flesh out compensation and budgeting requirements. Figuring that out. And then associated duties and responsibilities, I think we've kind of fleshed out.
Job description.
Well, Miss Parker has put together some mock job descriptions for me, stealing from other places. And I'm sure she probably also has that compensation data as well with those to see where we're landing there. As far as how to move forward.
Well, since we're going into the budget process, would this be something we will have up and rolling October 1?
Prior to, if we can get it.
I would say that would be the latest. Okay. I'd like to have it before then, but there's no reason it couldn't, well, the only reason it would be after that is because we can't find a guy or girls. Because again, it's not the simplest position.
But the position will be created.
I think, I'm trying to figure out how to go ahead and create said position. But we don't have a compensation yet. We can't post a job and be like, we'll figure out what you will make later.
We can.
The auditor says no.
We can
Not do that.
Can we not make a motion to establish the office subject to all of the other things that are listed here? To create the office and then start the workshop on the rest of it.
Can't do that. I would probably investigate it a little bit more before you.
I just don't know what you'd accomplish.
Well, we would set everything in motion
Yeah.
officially that we're gonna do that. And I think we could answer some of those questions. I mean, we know what qualifications are.
Yeah, but we need them on paper. Which, again, Ms. Parker has some mock job descriptions. Or not, or those are the ones you attach to.
Keep putting this on each agenda.
So that's, I think all you're doing is making a show by establishing the office pending we do all the things we're supposed to do. And that's, you've done nothing. I think you should, we'll put it on the very next agenda and have
All those
X, Y, and
answered.
Z needs to be answered. And then here's a salary range, pick one. These are the job, this is the job description and requirements and duties. Adopt that. Put it out there.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
we have a workshop.
Yeah.
Just that. When all the commissioners can talk about it, the auditor, treasurer can be all involved in it, and then just have one board agenda to. After that, to fix whatever comes out of the workshop.
Good. What else must be gone? Okay, workshop it is. My kind. If we post tomorrow, we can do one Tuesday. The only reason why I want to post tomorrow is because Miss Christie, we've been rushing her on these posting, and it's been 5 o'clock every day. So I'd like to give her time because we need to put the appropriate statutes down that apply to this as well. And I, just as a notice, we may put in there some of these, if I can get the research done on this NFPA 855, because we can adopt portions of that code. As Mr. Brown said, there are portions of that code that could negatively affect certain things. It's not the whole thing. We don't have to adopt the whole thing. We can adopt portions. So I may put something on there saying, hey, at least look at this code. Not that we need to adopt it or whatever.
So Tuesday
the 30th. You guys like 8:30?
Yes, sir.
How's that sound?
Awesome.
Need a motion for that.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, then if there's no further discussion on that item, we will move on. We will, what?
So no action.
No action, yes, ma'am. Tuesday the 30th at 8:30 in the morning, we'll have a special workshop only to deal with the establishment of the fire marshal's office. In addition to NFPA or IFCA. Number 10, discuss interaction on contract with National Fire and Safety for monitoring and courthouse systems, the amount of $1,080 for the initial fee and $480 annually. Gentlemen, it has, Mr. Crossan was supposed to be here today. He had a doctor's appointment come up. He had already briefed me on this and he attached a brief as well. It had come to our attention that the courthouse fire system, the fire alarm and such, and the people that manage our fire system went out of business after the flood. And there's not been maintenance on the fire systems.
But he knew that.
So Mr. Crossan has already done maintenance on the fire system, has replaced some things, but he is not a fireman. Nor does he know anything about it. And so he's asking for us to consider this contract with National Fire and Safety Monitoring, so they can monitor our fire systems in the courts.
Is this the only company has been contacted?
No, I believe I believe he's contacted 3 or 4 companies to do that. There's not only.
So you think he got bids from all of them, and this was the winner?
Where are they located?
Yeah, yeah, Dallas, Texas.
Now,
Kind of like our elevator folks. You gotta go out of town to get.
Yeah, we don't have one, no.
No, you don't have any elevator folks? No? Weird.
Yeah, I mean, it seems he's done all the research, and these are the guys that make a motion to accept.
second,
Motion in the second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, discuss interaction regarding certification of revenue received in the amount of $350,000 from a grant fund under House Bill 3000, which provides financial assistance to qualified ambulance service providers in certain rural counties.
That is $350,000. We're going to give them funds to Fairfight to purchase an ambulance.
So I don't know if you guys recall, we had this discussion a couple months ago. ESD2, the state did the rural ambulance fund, grant bill, and this ESD2 said, no, I don't think we're gonna put in for it. And then, they were like, wait a minute. Yeah, we do.
Why wouldn't?
So we put in for the grant, they got awarded it, and so now they just need us they're basically gonna give us money and we give the money to CareSite. Just pass through.
That's the bottom, you be given to ESP2, for them to get fair clubs and.
Yeah.
No, really, I mean. Not Fairfight, DSC owns all the ambulances, correct? They bought all the ambulances and leased those to Fairfight.
Correct, but the grant requires the EMS provider directly. So. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion. Your motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, discussing our action on budget amendment in the amount of $350,000 from grant fund under House Bill 3000, which provides financial assistance qualified ambulance service in rural areas.
The first one was a certification of revenue, the
Okay.
second one is
That's,
budget.
they reverted very closely.
Correctly.
All right.
Motion. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next one, discuss interaction on budget amendment, amount of $20,000 for road and bridge, any daily operation and activities.
move 20,000 out of equipment rental to contract service, so I can keep a tree trimmer cutting back some right of ways.
All right.
Make a motion.
Second,
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Discuss interaction on a budget amendment in $50,000 for autopsy and transport to provide additional public assistance.
At this point, we spent $190,000 approximately, and that's exceeded the $185,000 budget that we set was. So the proposed 50,000 budget amendment will cover the shortfall and allow for additional funds for public assistance for the service we provide.
So what have we spent so far?
$190,000.
I don't think the general public knows that we spend $250,000 or more for autopsies that are required.
So,
I always wonder what we do with our money. There's $250,000 right there.
so this particular line item is very hard to budget for. The justice of the peace is it's his duty to conduct inquests. There are no requirements by the state of Texas for them to be medically trained or anything but 18 and breathing. Ask me because I did it and they let me do it. So that justice of the peace, it is a judgment call for them to decide whether or not they're going to send someone for an autopsy. And Judge Lewis was always very clear with me. Do not worry about the budget. If you have any suspicions about death, you send it. And I've been the same way with our justice of peace. If there is any suspicion of death, cause, nature, whatever, you send them, we'll make the money work on the back end. So, and I believe that is the book. I will continue to do that. Good.
I agree.
So, all that to say, we need a little bit more money in this. Like most, so motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Discuss interaction on budget amendment in the amount of $10,500 from the auditor's office to allow current county auditors to have support from the assistant auditor.
This line item is just a line item move in our current budget to allow Susan to continue to assist me through the budget process, which I would really appreciate.
I'll make a motion.
Absolutely. Second,
To be honest,
third,
no,
fourth.
Yeah.
Nothing against you.
No.
I know, I know, I already know, so.
Me too. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. All right, discuss interaction regarding the county cell phone for the county auditor.
I would like a county cell phone so nobody can have my personal cell phone. I really don't want that
Okay.
given to the general public.
Make a motion.
Thank you.
So, motion and second, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Oh, next takes us to 17, pursuant to section 551.07 of the Texas Government Code, the Hill County Fiscal Court will need to close the executive session. Consult with the attorney on the current litigation regarding RCM Hill LLC plaintiff versus Hill County Shane Brassel, Jim Holcomb, Larry Trumpin, United States District Court, Western District of Texas, Waco Division, Civil Action Number 626 CV 00340. We're
Kind
gonna
of rolls right off the tongue.
yeah, it's easy to say. So we're gonna be moving into executive session. I'll notify you guys when we're back in regular session. We have about 5 minutes for the book.